Hey everybody, what's up and welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Liz and this is Crime Time, Creating Crime Time, whatever the hell you want to call it. But today we're going to be talking about a true crime case, and that is the case of Jessie McBain and Patricia Mann. So, Valentine's Day, 1971. This is approximately around the time they were murdered. So, in this case, still leaves the people that investigated this case like they're confused. They don't know. Literally so confused. So, Jesse McBain was 19 at the time. He was popular, he was athletic, and he went to North Carolina State University. And he was voted most likely to succeed. So, he was very, very good at what he was doing. He was very smart and knowledgeable. He also was engaged to his high school sweetheart, and that was 20-year-old Patricia Mann. Patricia Mann was a nursing student. So, a person that was involved in this case, he had been, at the time that the quote was taken, he had been investigating this case for 21 years. And that was Captain Tim Horn with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. And he said that he's never seen a case quite like this one. So, they believe that Jessie and Patricia went to the Valentines dance at Watts Hospital in Durham, North Carolina. And they went on February 12th, 1971. And from there, they believe they headed to a secluded area on Wayside Place for some private time, for some, possibly some loving time. Well, Jessie's car was found there by a friend the following day. And according to everything that I've read, the car was locked and had been completely wiped of fingerprints. Like there's no fingerprints anywhere. Unfortunately, their bodies would be found 2 weeks later, but several miles away. They were found by a person that was just like looking over the area and doing some work in that wooded area. And this part is now what's called Duke's Forest or Duke Forest. And at the time, it was privately owned land. And this man was just surveying the area, and he came upon the bodies, and they were partially covered by leaves and some debris. So, it also, when they found them, it looked like they had been strangled, then let down, strangled, then let down over a period of time so that they were tortured. This was to the point where their shoes still had mud on them, and there were like little troughs where their feet were, so from their feet moving around. So their feet had like, when you're on a swing and you dig your feet into the dirt, kind of like that. And it also was revealed that they had been stabbed several times, and that the crime scene photos were so gruesome that they weren't fully released. So they believe that there was some planning to this crime. And there's a strong possibility that whoever did this, it was a premeditated, like they knew what they were doing and to who. And they believe that whoever did this knew them. But to what level, they don't know. They're still, they don't know. And there's been several agencies that have worked this case over the years, but no arrest has ever been made. I mean, this happened in 1971, and today is the 41st anniversary of this case. So it's been a long time since they found them, and there still is no arrest in this case. So in 2011, the same detective I talked about, Horn, he found a box of discarded evidence, and he also had been working with Patricia's cousin. Patricia's cousin called and asked for an update. So what people don't really know is that a lot of families where they have members that pass away due to homicide and they tend to go unsolved, they do call and ask for updates. Even if there's no updates, they do call periodically. So, together, her cousin and this detective, they petitioned the sheriff to have the case reopened, and the sheriff did agree. So they did say that it's very hard to develop new information when it came to the case because you really have to just rely on the photographs from the files because of the point of their skeletons breaking down now as to obviously when they found them. It's been 41 years. So I mean, you can still pull DNA from bones, but if there was anything left on their bodies that wasn't caught, definitely now we're not going to get. This case has been subject to many different podcasts and different writers and different filmmakers, and a lot of people have looked into this case because it truly is very, very interesting. Like, some people come to a conclusion in a suspect that stood out that had never been fully identified as being a suspect. Like, it's the same thing how I felt about the Carol Rofstad case and what has happened since her murder, and how the grad student that used her case and then went on investigating and then had that interview with that person and then turned everything over to the police, like, and how they have one name but they can't do anything about it. So the detective as well in this case said that they paid that suspect a visit, requested his DNA for testing. His attorney quickly called and said that his client then refused. Detective Horn is very optimistic that this case will be solved. And his, what's the word I'm looking for? Since he's worked on this case for so long, he lives and breathes this case. And he wants very much to be able to solve this case, not just for Jessie and Patricia, but for their families. And obviously, Jessie and Patricia didn't deserve what happened to them, and whoever did this horrible crime needs to be held accountable for it. And this case still haunts their families to this day. To this day. So the podcast I was talking about is called The Long Dance. I'll try and see if I can get a hyperlink and put it in the description below, but I wanted to cover a case that occurred around Valentine's Day to put up on Valentine's Day, and especially one that is unsolved and where there is a possibility of there being a suspect that can be identified. Really piqued my interest. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's True Crime Cases. Bye, guys.